So I've had this theory for a while now that I've been living in some kind of alternative timeline, or a multiverse is what they call it now. But yeah, I feel like it happened sometime in the early 2000s, and it's just I've had this strange feeling ever since then that nothing's been right, and it's a weird theory, but I feel like it has something to do with maybe 9/11, and maybe that, and a combination of things that were changing at the time. Like, for instance, Sega kind of went out of business, or stopped making the hardware anyway. Now they just make software, the games, but they don't have their own console anymore. So I feel like, yeah, that, and then the whole 9/11 thing, and the fact that everybody was complaining about the Star Wars prequels, while at the same time movies like Lord of the Rings were doing really well. And Lord of the Rings was the kind of thing that was, considered nerdy back in the day. And then suddenly that and Harry Potter became like a big deal. But yeah, I really feel like I don't know, a combination of that, and then people complaining about Star Wars, and then 9/11 happening. 2001 was like a weird year, and I feel like it kind of split the timeline, and I ended up on the wrong timeline. Because I feel like I should be in the timeline where the prequels did really well and Lord of the Rings flopped. But for some reason I'm in the timeline where, everybody, the prequels didn't exactly flop, but my god, they got a lot of shit. A lot of crap from people, And of course Lord of the Rings did really well, and I feel like I'm definitely in the wrong timeline. And 9/11 shouldn't have happened. Yeah, that just seems like something that just should have been avoided, and it's just, I don't know. So I feel like the problem started in the late 90s when the complaints started, and then 2001 was the year that broke the timeline. I know, that's why it feels like maybe 9/11 was the event that actually split the timeline. But the complaint about the Star Wars prequels is what led up to it somehow, and the fact that Lord of the Rings succeeded. Because I believe it came out, it came out a couple of months after, because that was like December, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, so yeah, just that was the year where I felt like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? And I felt this urge to just go back to the 80s. And so I started just digging up anything I could dig up from years ago and finding all kinds of films. But yeah, that was the year that really, for me, kind of made me feel like I'm in the wrong timeline. I felt like that ever since. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's just this weird feeling that I've had for years and years now. And I look at videos on YouTube about, whether or not this world is real, and whether or not there's different timelines. There's different theories about things like that. When something happens, they say it's either a glitch in the Matrix, or it's like something from another reality that's kind of seeping in, and we see it briefly and it goes away. I've been into that kind of thing for a while, But yeah, I have a strong feeling it started in 2001, with where everything just started to feel wrong and everything fell apart. And of course, it's gotten even worse. Today's world is even worse with, you know, bloody woke stuff going on, and people think they're born in the wrong body. All kinds of weird stuff being said all over the internet. People thinking there's more than one. More than two genders. So it's just like multiple genders now. Apparently, I don't even know. They have different names, but I forget. There's too many to remember. They're all made up anyway, so who cares? Yeah, all that bullshit. You can be this. You can be this. You can be that. You can wake up and decide, oh, I'm a girl now. Or you can be like no gender. Fucking gender. What they call it, gender fluid, where you can change your mind from day to day. I think that's gender fluid, and then the other one is non-binary. That's it, which is basic. To me, sounds like a fucking robot. Oh, I'm non-binary, so I'm nothing. Well, fucking look between your legs, and then you'll know what you are. Stupid fucking world we live in. But yeah, I don't know. Those are my thoughts. Just this feeling of always being in the wrong reality has been with me for a long time. I guess since my late teens. I was, yeah, in my late teens back then. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, 2001 I was 17, and then, you know, at the end of in 2000, when the third Lord of the Rings came out, I was 19, because that was 2003. But I think it kind of, for me, the feeling started in 2001, and then by the time I got to that, I was really feeling it. Remember thinking, like, what reality am I in? What happened? I feel like I woke up one day and I was just in the wrong reality, and I couldn't quite place when it happened, but I feel like it happened in 2001. And by 2003, I remember being convinced that this isn't right. Something happened. I don't know what, but looking back, it's like some kind of catastrophe, whatever the fucking word is, catastrophe, event. And I feel like it was the complaining about the prequels that kind of broke reality, and that's why 9/11 happened. And then that's also why the Lord of the Rings films did well, because in the reality that existed before 9/11, Lord of the Rings would have flopped, because it just would have been this big nerdy thing that no one would have cared about. I don't know. I know it's weird, but I've had this feeling for a long time. Someone that grew up on 80s movies, and, you know, going into the 2000s, it just didn't feel correct. But yeah, I partly blame it on Star Wars fans. And they haven't gotten much better, but at least now I somewhat agree with them when they complain about the Disney shit. But a lot of them are still out there, still complaining about the prequels. Anyway, it's a weird rant. I know it doesn't make sense, but I'm pretty sure I am mentally ill in some way. But who knows what it could be. I've always said schizoid or schizotypal. Yeah, I read out the symptoms and it sort of sounds like me. Schizotypal is the thing where you have weird beliefs. So I guess that would make sense. So, I don't know, tell me what you think about reality is, or whether or not you've ever felt like this. Yeah, in the comment section, just let me know. Maybe I'm not the only one. Or maybe I'm just crazy. That's kind of why I started this channel, to get my thoughts out there, see if, see if I'm alone in the way I think. I don't know. I literally don't talk to anybody. I'm just, always in the house. I don't leave the house. I don't talk to anybody outside of, immediate family, which is a schizoid thing. I literally just talk to my dad and my younger brother, and that's it. I avoid everybody else. So I'm aware that I'm a bit of a weirdo. But there you go, that's my life. So yeah, like I said, let me know in the comments, and yeah, be interested if anybody feels this way about the world and how it's changed and what led up to the world we live in now, this woke culture. But yeah, so that's it for now.